Maya balam bhagavataha jana isha pashyet. Maya balam bhagavato jana isha pashyet. Maya balam bhagavato jana isha pashyet. Tavan na samsrutir asau pratisankrameta. Tavanna samsrutirasau pratisankrameta. Tavanna samsrutirasau pratisankrameta. Vyartha api dukkha nivaham vahati kriyartha. Vyartha api dukkha nivaham vahati kriyartha. Vyartha api dukkha nivaham vahati kriyartha. Yavat prataktvam indriyartha. Maya balam bhagavato janayisa pasyet. Tavanna samsrutirasau pratisankrameta. Vyarthapi dukkha nivaham vahati kriyartha. Yavat prataktvam indriyartha. Maya balam bhagavato janayisa pasyet. Tavanna samsrutirasau pratisankrameta. Vyarthapi dukkha nivaham vahati kriyartha. Yavat, as long as prithakvam, separatism, idam, this, atmanaha, of the body, indriya artha, for sense gratification, maya balam, influence of external energy, bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead, janaha, a person, isha, O my Lord, pashyet, sees, tavat, so long, na, not, samsritihi, the influence of material existence, asau, that man, pratisankrameta, can overcome, vyartha api, although without meaning, dukkha nivaham, multiple miseries, vahati, bringing, kriya artha, for fruitive activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, As long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy. Kindly repeat. O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The whole trouble of the living entity in material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord in both the conditioned and liberated states. But by the influence of the external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. His constitutional position is to dovetail himself with the desire of the Supreme Will. But as long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 55, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parsa manogatan. He has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction. The living entity has to dovetail himself with the Supreme Will. That will help him to get out of the entanglement of material existence. That's hence the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timrandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham mande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. So recently, 1 or 2 days back, there was a news article. The title was Cross-Border Love Story Comes to an End. So what happened was, some years back, there was a famous Indian tennis player. Her name was Sania Mirza. Many of you would have heard about her. Not many Indians are in the field of tennis, but this lady, she carved a name for herself in the world of tennis, and she became famous all over India. And then she had a love affair with a cricketer called Shoaib Malik from Pakistan. And finally, after a lot of going back and forth, they finally got married. And so it made big news at that time. And there were a lot of questions they asked her. If Pakistan and India are playing cricket against each other, whom will you cheer for? For your husband playing for Pakistan or for the Indian team? And all sorts of difficult questions were asked. But of course, everybody was hailing this. See how two countries may be at loggerheads with each other. India and Pakistan are always fighting with each other. But human love transcends all these kind of things. And see how these two people from two different countries, they got married. But unfortunately, after a few years, this married couple, they are now going for a divorce. And so the title of the article saying that cross-border love story comes to an end. So you see how two individuals, despite the differences, the opposition in terms of being from two different countries which are inimical towards each other, Despite that, their attraction was so strong that they came together and they got married. But ultimately, after a few years, some differences have cropped up, because of which they are separating. They want to be independent of each other. So this kind of a love story ending up in a divorce is all too common nowadays. Not like the olden days when people used to get married and stay together for the whole life. Now it's all slowly, things are changing. It's very common for people to fall in love, get married, and after a few years get divorced. So the individuals, even amongst two individuals, we can see, although the attraction between them may be very strong, even to overcome various oppositions, still that sense of independence, the woman and the man, their feeling of I want to be independent, I want to do what I like to do, sometimes overpowers even that attraction, and eventually people get divorced and they separate. Why do they separate? Because they feel my independence is getting affected, I am not being able to work independently with this individual, so better to separate. So we can see even at the individual level, this mood of it percolates even to higher levels. For example, the Prime Minister of the country came to Telangana, but as per protocol, the Chief Minister of the state has to come and receive him. But he did not come. He sent some lower minister to go and receive the Prime Minister. Why? Because the Chief Minister feels, why I should go? He is from a different party, I am from a different party. So why I should go and receive him? That is belittling my position. So he wants to be independent. He doesn't want to follow the instructions or be under the Prime Minister of the country. Although all of us are part of the same country and the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister for the whole country, but the Chief Minister feels that he is separate. Similarly, even in Tamil Nadu we can see how, when the new government got elected, they started calling themselves as part of the Union of India. Generally, they refer to the Indian government as the central government. But these people say, no, we don't recognize it as a central government, it is a Union of India, it is the union government. That means they say that the state has got greater autonomy, independence. The state is different, the center is different. So you can see here also there is a sense of separatism. Not only at the state level, at the national level, even at the international level we can find this. There is a fight going on between Russia and Ukraine, and the United States said that we should impose sanctions on Russia and countries should stop buying oil and gas from Russia. But India did not listen to that. India went ahead and continued buying. So when the whole the Western world questioned India, why you are not stopping to buy oil from India, what was India's response? India's response was very straightforward. They said, don't assume that the problems of the Western countries to be the problems of the world. You are part of the Western world, we are separate. So we will do what you want, you take care of your problems, you solve your problems, don't foist your problems upon us. So you can see how even at the international level, this mood of independence and separatism exists. So now why does this mood of independence exist? Because fundamentally we have wanted to become independent of Krishna. We wanted to become separate from Krishna. Due to that rebellious mood of separatism, we have come to this material world. So all of us who are there in the material world are afflicted with this disease of separatism. We want to be separate. We want to be independent. And everybody in this material world, right from human beings up to even devatas, even amongst the devaloka, you can find that the mood of separatism exists. So only those who harbor the feeling that I want to be separate, I want to be independent of Krishna, only those souls come into this material world. In fact, even up to the Brahma and Lord Shiva, even they have that mood of separatism. Maybe to different degrees. It is, different people may have that mood of separatism to different degrees. But even in the case of Lord Shiva, he also has a feeling of little independence of Krishna. And even Brahma and Lord Shiva are great pure devotees. But still, even Brahma has a certain subtle sense of independence. Brahmaji wants to serve Krishna in some big way in the material world. So because of this slight, subtle sense of independence that is there even in Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, both of them, they do not have permanent residence in the spiritual world. Whenever our Chaturmukha Brahma, he is a pure devotee, whenever his lifespan ends and the material universe he is ruling over gets destroyed, what happens? Brahma and Shiva go to the spiritual world. But then after some time, they again come back to this material world to take charge of some universe and run the affairs of the material universe. So like this, even Brahma and Lord Shiva, although they are pure devotees, because of that subtle sense of independence, even they do not have permanent residence in the spiritual world. So, if one wants to be elevated to the spiritual world permanently, then one must give up completely this sense of independence. Otherwise, it is not possible. The pure devotees who are in the spiritual world are completely free of any personal desire. This is the characteristic of the pure devotees in the spiritual world. This is described by Lord Brahma himself. Lord Brahma, in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, there is the description of the Brahma Vimohana Leela. We all know about that Leela. How Brahma, when Aghasura was killed by Krishna, and all the devatas were crying out, Jai, Jai, like that to Lord Krishna. Brahmaji heard the commotion and he came to see, what is all that halla gulla going on? What is all that noise? So he asked some of the devatas, told him, the Supreme Lord Krishna has descended to this material world and he is carrying out his pastimes like a cowherd boy and he has just killed Aghasura. So Brahma thought, my Supreme Lord Narayana, he lives in such majesty in Vaikuntha. Why will he in the first place come to this material world? And even if he comes, he cannot be like a cowherd boy. What is the opulence of my Supreme Lord Narayana? So he looked at Krishna and he said, no, this cannot be Narayana, not possible. Let me test, let me examine whether this person is really the Supreme Lord. And so what did he do? He stole, he took away, he abducted all the cowherd boyfriends and the calves whom Krishna and his friends were grazing. And then, of course, we all know, when Krishna saw, oh, Brahmaji, you are testing me, I will show you. So Krishna himself expanded himself into all those cowherds and those calves for 1 full year. And none of the Brajavasis could make out that these are not their original children or calves. They were all thinking that these are our children and our calves only. So after 1 year, when Brahmaji came and he saw, let me see what's happening, how Krishna is handling the situation. And he saw suddenly all those same boys and calves are still playing with Krishna in the forests of Vraja. He got confused. He said, what's happening? Just now I have put them all into sleep and I have come here and they are all here also. How can they be in 2 places? A person can be only in one place at a time. He cannot be in two places at the same time. So Brahmaji was saying, what's this? What is happening? And then Lord Krishna wanted to show Brahmaji his power. And all of those calves and the cowherd boyfriends transformed into 400 Narayana forms. Now Brahma's bewilderment became even more. He said, my God, what is this I am seeing? Narayana is the Supreme Lord, he is in Vaikuntha. There are so many Narayanas here now. And then, while he is seeing all this, all the Narayanas merged into the body of Krishna. Now Brahma went completely mad. He said, I am not able to understand what is happening. Then he realized, oh, this is not an ordinary thing. Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is even the source of Narayana. And so Brahma immediately came down, fell at the lotus feet of Krishna and apologized to Krishna that, oh, I have done a great offense. I come and disturbed your personal pastimes. And so then Brahma offered his prayers to Lord Krishna, glorifying Krishna and expressing his regret for having disturbed his pastimes. So when Brahmaji started glorifying Krishna as the Supreme Lord, it was natural that Brahma also appreciated the Vrajavasis. Why? Because that Krishna, who is the source of even Narayana, he has come like an ordinary two-handed human being, and he has come to this material world and he is manifesting his pastimes, and the Vrajavasis, they are getting to engage in intimate activities, personal activities with the Supreme Lord. To see whose lotus feet, even for the Devatas, is so difficult. Om Tad Vishnoha Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suryaha. Suryaha, the Devatas, they are all constantly waiting. When will we get an opportunity to see the lotus feet of Krishna? It's not easy to get darshan of the lotus feet of Krishna. But here the Vrajavasis, they are playing with him like some ordinary cowherd. So Brahmaji started glorifying the Vrajavasis. What is this great fortune that these people have? And then glorifying these Vrajavasis, Brahmaji said, Yesham Gosha Nivasinam Uta Bhavan Kim Devaratayati Nascheto Vishwaphalat Phalam Tvadanyatrapi Vimuhyati. So he said, my mind is getting bewildered when I look at all these Vrajavasis. Why is my mind getting bewildered? Because these Yesham Gosha Nivasanam, all these residents of the Gosha, of the village of Raja, they are great devotees of yours. And these great devotees, how great are these devotees of Vraja? Because Brahma himself is a pure devotee. He is the creator of this universe, and he is the Lord of all the Devatas. Such a great personality, such a great devotee that Krishna has entrusted him with the activity of administering this material Brahmanda, this universe. So he is such a great devotee. Now he is glorifying the Vrajavasis. Why? Because Yaddamartha Suhritanaya Priyatma Pranashayas Tvatkrite. These Vrajavasis, the uniqueness of the Vrajavasis, which places them on a higher pedestal than Brahmaji himself, is Yaddhama Artha Tvatkrite. For Krishna's sake, they have dedicated their everything. Yaddhama, whatever a person can consider very dear to him, all of those dear things that the Vrajavasis have dedicated to you. Tvatkrite. Like for example, Yaddhama, their possessions of land. For everybody, his piece of land or his house is very dear to him. A person will fight, he will go to court, he will, if somebody tries to take away that land, he will not give up so easily. Sometimes the government also, when they have to undertake some infrastructure, build some highway or something like that, they acquire the property of individuals. Then the government has to give a sufficient compensation to the people. Otherwise, there will be great agitation, people will strike, they will go to court. Like we saw how in West Bengal, when Tata wanted to set up a factory of car manufacturing, the government wanted to take all the land of the farmers and give it to the company. But the farmers agitated so much that finally Tata had to give up that land and he had to go to a different state. He could not do it there. Why? Because the people are so attached to their lands. But the Vrajavasis, they have whatever land they have, it is dedicated to Krishna. Whatever they grow with the intention, some vegetables, grains, whatever they grow. What is their intention? With this we should be able to cook nice foodstuffs and offer to Krishna. Dhamma, Artha, their wealth. For everybody his wealth is very dear. Nobody will give his wealth away so easily. If somebody wants to come and put his hand into your pocket and take away your wallet, will you allow? You will not allow. So your wealth is also very dear. But the Vrajavasis, Dhamma, Artha, they have dedicated all their wealth and possessions for Krishna. It is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. Then Suhrit, all their friendly relations. All of us want to have some friends. Suhrit. Wherever we go, we will try to develop a circle of friends. For the Vrajavasis, their Suhrit is Krishna. It is centered around Krishna. Suhrit, Tanaya, and the Vrajavasis, their children, all their children also they have dedicated to Krishna. They want their children to serve Krishna. They have no other intention. In this world, people, when they have children, parents, when they have children, they are very possessive of their children. They want the children to grow up, to become independent, to stand on their own legs, and they think, how can I provide for the future of my child, etc. But in the case of Vrajavasis, their only thinking is, my child should serve Krishna and Krishna should be pleased with him. And Priya Atma, whatever dear people are there, relatives are there, all of that is dedicated to Krishna. In fact, Atma, their own bodies are dedicated for pleasing Krishna. Prana, their very life air is dedicated for Krishna. And that is how, when Kaliya caught up Krishna in his coils, and the Vrajavasis came to the bank of Yamuna, and they saw Kaliya has captured Krishna, they fainted and almost fell dead. They felt that they are going to lose their life air. Why? Because for them, their life air, their prana is Krishna. And if anything happens to Krishna, they cannot survive. They cannot live. So, all their asya, all their aspirations are also dedicated to Krishna. So, practically every single aspect of their life is dedicated to Krishna. So, this is very unlike what happens in the material world. So, Brahma also has some independent desire. I want to serve Krishna in some big way in the material world. But look at the Vrajavasis, they have no desire other than the desire of Krishna. Whatever it is, I want to please Krishna. Whatever pleases Krishna, I will do. That's all. They have no other desire. And so Brahmaji, he appreciates that the level of devotion of the Vrajavasis is something else altogether. And so he says, Devarateti, you are Vishwaphalat Phalam. You are the person who gives benedictions to the entire world. And now, you who give benedictions to the entire world, to the entire universe, even to the Devatas, I am confused what benediction you will give to the Vrajavasis, because they have dedicated their everything to you. So what will you give them in return? Tvatkrite, I don't see any other benediction, any other result you can give to the Vrajavasis for their devotional service than to give yourself to them. So, but that also when I think, I get confused. Why? Because Putanapi Sakula Tvameva Devapita. Putana, what happened? Sadveshadeva, she approached Krishna dressing herself like one of the gopis, one of the Vrajavasis. Just because Putana, who was such a wicked demoness that she liked to kill babies and drink their blood. That was a kind of Rakshasi demoness that Putana was. But even such an evil Putana, she came to Krishna dressed like a gopi. Sadveshadiva Putana api. And that Putana, just because she came to you dressed like a gopi, Sakula, with her entire family dynasty. Who are the people in her dynasty? The people in the dynasty of Putana are not some great sadhus and devotees. Who are the relatives of Putana? One is Aghasura, another is Bakasura. So these are the relatives of, this is the dynasty of Putana. And so Brahma is saying, Putana api Sakula, with her entire dynasty, just because she came dressed like a gopi, what did you do? Tvameva Devapita. You have given yourself to Putana. So what is there left to give to the Vrajavasis? Brahmaji is asking Krishna, you have given yourself to Putana just because she came dressed like a gopi. Now what about the actual gopis and the gopas of Vraja? What will you give them? When I think of his Mukhyati, I am getting bewildered. I don't see in any way that you can repay the love of the Vrajavasis. So this is the spiritual world. The spiritual world is a place where the devotees, especially Vraja, the devotees have no desire other than the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, they desire that only. So if we regain our sense, our proper sense of dedication and surrender to Krishna in the footsteps of the Vrajavasis, then we can become free from the clutches of material miseries. Like in the previous verse, it is described how the living entities are constantly perplexed by kshuthrit, by hunger, thirst, severe cold, blasting winter, and blasting summer, coughing winter, rains, and many other disturbing elements. So all of these disturbances, what is the cause? That is being described in today's verse. That the cause is, as it is described here, that prithakvam, yavat prithakvam, as long as we harbor the desire to be independent, separate from Krishna, until such time we have to undergo the material miseries. Only when we surrender ourselves completely to Krishna, like the Vrajavasis, and have no desire other than the desire of Krishna, only then we can become free from the influence of the material miseries. So our life in the movement of Srila Prabhupada is actually a training to how to become completely dedicated for the desire of Krishna. So as devotees, especially those who are serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, we have to understand that our life in this Prabhupada's mission should be dedicated towards serving the desire of Prabhupada. If we train ourselves like that, then we can also develop the same level of love as the Vrajavasis, and we will become eligible to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. So even in our day-to-day services, we should not develop any personal desire. I want to do this, I want to do that for Krishna, I want to do this, I want to do this for Prabhupada, I want to do something big. First, we have to get trained how to follow instructions. What I am told, I should be ready to do. So, if we train ourselves like that, more important than my desire is what is expected of me. That is the training that Srila Prabhupada is giving all of us to come to the level of the devotion of the Vrajavasis. So, this is an important instruction which is applicable to all of us and which we have to practice in our daily life in order to be able to become free from the influence of the material miseries and to become eligible to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. So, I will stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. Yes, please. Hare Krishna.
Sanatana Dharma, that is Gaudiya Vaishnava Madhva Sampradaya.
Yes.
It is told, Prabhu, by you that our Brahma has this desire of ruling or doing something big in the creation.
Yes.
So how he becomes Acharya? Can Acharya have this desire that I should be serving big? Still they are Acharya and they are given the post and they are devotees also at the same time.
To desire to serve Krishna in some big way is not against devotional principles. It's not against devotional principle. Brahmaji is not having any material desire for personal sense gratification. He does not have any desire for sense gratification. He wants to serve Krishna only. But he wants to serve in some big way in the material world. So, some slight sense of independence is there. Whereas, and that is why even though Brahma went to Vraja and he saw Krishna, he offered his obeisances, and in his prayers, another prayer that Brahmaji submitted to the lotus feet of Krishna is, in some lifetime, I should become a speck of dust in Vrindavan so that I can be, I can take the, the lotus feet of the Vrajavasis will fall upon my head. So this kind of desire Brahmaji expressed, and then after he finished his prayers to Brahmaji, he left Vraja and went back to his Brahmaloka. So, although Brahmaji aspires that I should also become a Brajavasi, still he is not qualified to be a Brajavasi. So because we have to understand that pure devotees will be of different grades. There are pure devotees in this material world who always participate in the Leelas of Krishna, who are always eternally in the material world, just like the Pandavas. Pandavas are eternally serving Krishna, they are pure devotees, but they are eternally in the material world. Then there are pure devotees like Brahma and Lord Shiva, who keep going to the spiritual world and coming to the material world. They don't have permanent residence in the spiritual world. This is what Prabhupada says in the 4th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then there are residents of Vaikuntha, those who are eternal residents of Vaikuntha, they are even higher. Then beyond them are the residents of Ayodhya, and above the Ayodhya Loka is Dwaraka. So there are the Yadavas who are eternal residents of Dwaraka. So they are even higher, and beyond them are the Vrajavasis. So all of them are pure devotees, but then there are gradations even amongst the pure devotees. So Brahmaji is a pure devotee, and only a pure devotee can become an Acharya. So Brahmaji being a pure devotee, he is fully qualified to become an Acharya. But then in the Sampradaya of Brahma, Lord Krishna himself appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has revealed that the devotion expressed by the Vrajavasis are the topmost. So, although we are in the Brahma Sampradaya, we identify ourselves as part of the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, in Brahma Sampradaya also, we are part of that branch of Brahma Sampradaya where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and he revealed the highest truth about the real standard of the devotion of the Vrajavasis. That's how we have to understand. So, there is no controversy or contradiction in that in Brahma becoming an Acharya of our Sampradaya. Is that okay? Any other question or comment? So, we will stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700. హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం